Yeah, I'm expecting this one to get a little bit dicey in the comments section. What's going on, Dub Nation? You're watching Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Tyler Smith, and on today's show, we have a new major report from a very tapped-in Warriors insider that says the Dubs are, quote, very likely to keep Jonathan Kuminga as he enters restricted free agency in about a month. We'll get into all of what Monte Poole of NBC Sports Bay Area had to say in just a moment. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. This is why you subscribe. When we hear Warriors news, we're making a video for Dub Nation. This report came out only a few hours ago, and we had to bring you guys the content on a Friday. And we are on the road to 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. So join us as we're covering the Warriors all offseason long, and turn on your notifications as well so you never miss a moment. And right when the Warriors news goes down, you hear about it here at Warriors Today. All right, here is the first of many quotes that Monte Poole had on Jonathan Kuminga's future here. He says the tea leaves as well as scuttlebutt around the NBA is that the Warriors will very likely find a way to hang on to JK. Find a way? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me, to be quite honest with you. It seems like we've heard from multiple reports that Golden State and Kuminga are going to explore sign-and-trade options this summer. So find a way to keep Jonathan Kuminga. They might have to, they may unfortunately luck into keeping Jonathan Kuminga this summer. Look, this is not the news that I wanted to hear, not the news that I wanted to make a video about today, but we have heard over about the past week or so that financial restrictions could cause Jonathan Kuminga to remain in Golden State, with a trade being pretty difficult to kind of, come together at this point. Like, there's more reasons than just that Jonathan Kuminga could end up staying with Golden State in free agency. Like, the landscape across the league as far as salary cap goes is that nobody has money. Like, there are two teams that have more than $20 million available in free agency this summer, and one of them has only $24 million. And, like, they're not expected to extend a offer sheet to Jonathan Kuminga. And the team that has all the bread, the Brooklyn Nets, are not expected to extend an offer sheet to Jonathan Kuminga this summer. They have $55 million, and they're not going to offer him the bag. So that's, another team that potentially might not be out of the sweepstakes here. And then when you look at the trade market, like, we don't know what NBA teams view Jonathan Kuminga as, and we don't know what Golden State views Jonathan Kuminga as in a trade. So whatever comes back could, not be worthwhile for them. And it could also be very difficult to get a trade together, because we know the financial constriction, the things that make it difficult Jonathan Kuminga trade, like his salary being 200 or 200% of whatever Golden State gets back in a trade. Like, that's going to be very difficult. You might even have to get a third team involved when you're talking about making a Kuminga trade. So a lot of moving pieces have to correlate in order to get this done. And at the end of the day, some people in the Warriors building want to keep Jonathan Kuminga long-term, i.e. the Warriors owner, Joe Lacob. And we saw this a couple of weeks ago at one of the first Golden State Valkyries games in the WNBA. Lacob sitting courtside with none other than Jonathan Kuminga, who we know was heavily influenced by Lacob when he was drafted to Golden State. Like, Lacob's been a huge influence in keeping him out of trade talks, and it looks like he's going to be a huge influence in keeping him in Golden State long term. Is when you bring a guy to a WNBA game, a team that just was created, and these are their first home games ever, you probably want to leave an impression to the fans in that arena that this is a guy that is going to be a part of the Warriors. Is that exactly what I want? No, but that's what it seems like Joe Lacob wants at this point. And look, Mike Dunleavy, the general manager, could believe in him as well. He is been vocal about Jonathan Kuminga's strengths and talent in this league, and the positives that there would be to Golden State keeping him. Remember what he said in the exit interview when the Warriors season ended? He said, look at the things JK does well. Getting to the rim, finishing, getting fouled. These are things that we greatly need. We know he can bring those to the table, and it's not hypothetical. It's not a guy that in the draft we think we can do it. He's shown it 4 years he can do that. For that reason, we'll try to bring him back. So it looks like the Golden State front office doesn't hate the idea of Kuminga being a part of this Golden State Warriors team next year. But it's unfortunate, because if you do this, it really makes it a lot more difficult to improve this roster around the margins. And we know how Steve Kerr seems to feel about Kuminga in his rotation. And look, when you're going to be paying this guy $25 million, he's going to be a major factor, and trying to bring another guy in or two guys in for that salary range is going to be impossible with Golden State near the tax aprons. And Steve Kerr, he went on the Kawakami podcast, said that he can't play JK 38 minutes a night, and then Kawakami came back with saying that Steve Kerr probably believes he can't play 25 minutes a night. But in the exit interviews and all this stuff, talking about Kuminga, Kerr said that he will run more Kuminga, Draymond, and Jimmy Butler lineups to start next season, which is probably going to be needed. If you're going to pay this guy money and put faith in him, then you got to play him with your best players, even though it probably doesn't fit all that well. It was a very small sample size that we got this season. They didn't get to incorporate Kuminga into the lineup until over a month after Jimmy Butler was established after the trade deadline. So, this could eventually work out in Golden State's favor. I'm not too optimistic about it, though, personally. Do you guys want Jonathan Kuminga to return to the Golden State Warriors next season? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments section. If you guys are a JK fan or not, this could be good news to you, but to others, it might not be as favorable for next season and potentially beyond. We'll talk more about Kuminga and what's going to go on with Golden State's offseason in just a moment. But first, I got to shout out our proud sponsor on the program, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform because it's daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. All you guys got to do is pick a lineup of 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less, whether it's basketball, hockey, where you got finals in full force right now, or baseball season in full swing, or bowling, darts, esports, or golf. You can mix and match all these different sports in the same lineup and win up to 2,000 times your money. PrizePicks always wants to make it easier for you guys to win some bread as well. So they offer deals like Taco Tuesday, where they discount player stat projections, or Flex Friday, like today, where if you place a flex play lineup, which means you don't have to green out all your squares, and you lose it, they'll give it back to you in promo funds up to $20. And our special deal we offer here at Warriors Today, code CLNS, like you see in the bottom right of your screen, that will give you $50 for free when you sign up. Use that promo code and place your first $5 entry. But don't worry, you don't have to win that entry to receive the $50. It's guaranteed free bread. So download PrizePicks today. Use the promo code CLNS for $50 instantly when you place your first $5 entry. You don't have to win to receive the 50. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks. Run your game. All that information will be clickable in the comment section and description of today's video. Okay, so there is more to that Monte Poole quote. It wasn't just 2 lines of dialogue there when he went on the Dubs Talk Live podcast. Even with a new deal for Jonathan Kuminga, that does not mean, according to Poole, that he's going to be staying with the Dubs long term. This could be a situation where they look to move off of him as soon as potentially next season after he signs an extension this summer. Poole continued by saying this: "It doesn't mean he's going to be the long-term answer. They'll just move him later," because what seems pretty clear in talking to people, that even people who I guess you could say are JK backers with the Warriors don't see him as a guy that's going to lead them to championships. You think? I mean, it's year 4. There's all this talk about Kuminga. Oh, he's only 22. He's been in the league 4 years. He's got a full contract under his belt already. He is what he is at this point. There isn't going to be this massive leap, or you see a totally different player than what he is right now. He is what he is. Yes, he's going to get better and get more polished and improve upon the things he needs to improve upon, but he is not going to be a much different player, and I just don't see him as a #1 option or an all-star level player in that regard. But I think Steve Kerr agrees with me. He said he can't play Kuminga 35 minutes a night next to Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond and expect to win basketball games. It's a square puzzle piece in a circular board. They just don't fit together, and that's unfortunate. With the potential of him coming back is you can't find somebody that does fit that puzzle piece. So I'm not too keen on Kuminga coming back. This is news, again, is not the best for me to hear. But look, I know there's a lot of people who believe in Kuminga and think that he can carry the mantle into the next era of Warriors basketball. More from Poole here. He said, "There's that wiggle room there that says, yeah, they like him, but they're not committed to him being there forever. We'll see where it goes, but right now there's nothing finalized, and there won't be anything finalized for a while. So these next 3, 4, 5 weeks, they're going to be interesting." So, they very much are. And if Kuminga does end up re-signing, he becomes trade eligible after 6 months. But, I just don't want to get to that point. I want there to be a deal done this summer. And I know it's going to be difficult, but it's just going to have to be a bullet the Golden State Warriors have to bite. You're not going to get maybe a player that's as good as Kuminga or puts up the box score stats that he does on a nightly basis. But what you can do is find a guy who fits a whole heck of a lot better than 0-0. I've seen enough at this point. And Kuminga overall, I'm not trying to trash him completely as a basketball player. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of him, I can't deny that he has talent. When Curry goes down in this second-round playoff series, he got buckets, and he was doing it efficiently, and he was playing like he wanted to make money in this league. And I think he will. I just don't think it should be with the Golden State Warriors. At this point, the gaps that he has in his game, the inconsistencies, they just don't align with this 2-year window that we're looking at with Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond. Like, you can't pay a guy all that money who just continuously either doesn't fit or makes mistakes or tries to play me ball more than we ball in a very much we Golden State Warriors offensive system. So it just doesn't make sense as a basketball move, as a financial move, to bring Kuminga back, try to get a deal done this summer. So this kind of nightmare is over because you don't want Steve Kerr, Mike Dunleavy heading in next season, training camp, after games. What if Kuminga gets another DNP? Do we want to be asked more questions in the pressers? Like, it just, why do we want to continue this awkwardness that just doesn't need to happen? Just find a trade partner this summer, even if it's a player that's not as good as Kuminga, then so be it. Hopefully he fits a little better. I think 90% of the league would fit on the Warriors better than Kuminga does. And look, J.K. should want a fresh start too. Like, he is a talented basketball player, an uber athletic, athlete in this league, and he could see big time numbers somewhere else. If he wants to think about his long-term NBA future, because yes, he is 22, like, go to somewhere else where you can put up inflated numbers, like, and get yourself that next contract. Like, what's the next deal going to look like for Kuminga if he doesn't fit in Golden State and further tanks his value? Like, it was in an all-time low heading into the postseason. He kind of recouped a little bit of it, going in after the Timberwolves series. But look, I fear that it's going to go down the drain again if he comes back to Golden State and those same inconsistencies rear their ugly heads. And like, with Kuminga coming back to Golden State, this is real. Like, these is a real possibility that we see mid-season trade rumors once again with Jonathan Kuminga heading into next deadline. Like, I don't want the team that we are playing with in December to be broken up in February. Like, we didn't see a full season of Jimmy Butler with the Warriors this year, and maybe that could have benefited them down the line and gotten them a better seed overall. Like, I don't want to have to deal with the Warriors needing to massively improve their roster by trading away Jonathan Kuminga in February of 2026. That's all I'm saying here. Like, I want continuity, I want chemistry, I want consistency throughout an entire 82-game stretch and a playoff run. So keeping Kuminga doesn't really do that because I think the trade rumors are going to pop up pretty early next season again. And unfortunate, but like remember what Anthony Slater said a couple of days ago? He said it's not entirely impossible to see this roster come back relatively as is. And look, man, I don't think that that's a winning recipe. I don't think that's a situation where you're going to be truly contending for an NBA championship. And yeah, maybe they would have this season if Steph stayed healthy. But, he didn't. And the reason was because he had so much weight on his shoulders for such a long time. Jimmy Butler took a little bit of the burden away. But then they let the Rocket series go a little bit too long, and Steph had too much tread on the tires. Look, the offseason just got a lot more difficult if Jonathan Kuminga is going to return to this roster. There isn't a lot of wiggle room for them to do anything, really, to marginally improve this roster because they don't have many big money salary players. Like, Kuminga is going to be, a double-digit salary going away in a sign and trade here, and you would have maybe hoped to get some good talent back by including one of these two guys in that deal. Now, if Kuminga comes back, he's off the table for the summer, and these are your best two trade pieces when Moses Moody is going to be entering the first year of a contract extension. I'm sure the Warriors kind of want to see that through. And then Buddy Hield probably has more value in Golden State than he does like anywhere else in this league. He played really, really well, and he's voiced vocally that he wants to stay and has been a good locker room presence. He's been a net positive for Jimmy Butler and his time in Golden State. So, like, they probably want to keep him on a solid $9 million deal as well. So these are your trade pieces after he's re-signed Kuminga. Not much to work with. And then when he gets to free agency, they have the exceptions that they will, be working with this summer. $14 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception. But you got to use this stuff before you end up re-signing Kuminga, obviously, because then once you make a big deal with him, you probably are a taxpayer again, or at least close to it. So maybe you don't have that mid-level anymore, and it goes down to less than half of that figure. Then you have the biannual exception at $5 million. You have 2 trade exceptions as well. Maybe you could get one of the Magic big men. That would be awesome with that $8.8 million exception, second-round draft pick, and then vet minimums, man. Like, that's what you're working with for this summer. And things get really, really tight if Jonathan Kuminga is signed here long-term. Like, I personally would want to get some players like a Kobe White, a Daniel Gafford, guys who are on expiring deals for next year but can play real hoops and look like a solid fit on Golden State's roster. And look, it's unfortunate that the trade market for Kuminga is shallow and the ceiling's already capped because you can't make this thing happen before the NBA draft. So in a really, really good draft pool this year. Like, picks are highly sought after by NBA teams. And yes, Golden State doesn't have first to dangle themselves, but at least this season. But when you think about how a Kuminga trade is going to happen, like there could have to be a third, fourth team getting involved, and like once the draft goes by, like those guys are on their teams, and those teams, that could be participating and used as vehicles in that trade aren't going to be able to use 2025 draft capital. So the odds that Kuminga goes up on this, ends up on the Warriors next year goes up dramatically if a deal's not made by the draft. What do you guys think, though? If they do keep him, can the Warriors win a title with Jonathan Kuminga? It seems like people in the building don't even think so. So I don't even know why this is even being talked about at this point. Like, I don't know, man. Yes or no? Can the Warriors win a title with Jonathan Kuminga? I'd be typing my nose, but again, I'm a pessimist. You can call me a hater in the comments section. That'll do it for today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports. Make sure you are subscribed, because if you hear anything else on JK, we'll bring you a video right here on the channel. Lock us in, hit that big red sub button. We'll see you guys all in the next one. And as always, let's go Dubs.